All right, I want to plug through with this project again. Get some more stuff done. And we're going to do that right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rusty Oliver Man. This is the 1250 we've been working on. I cleaned it up and meadow greenified it a little bit in places. And so I don't know if we'll just keep continuing to do that and go ahead and get that done. There is things I would like to do before we do that thing and put it together finally. I've been trying to get the stickers off and I broke my razor blade thing, so I need to get more of those after a while. And I don't know what to say. Well, battery cutoff. We like those, don't we? So we might as well put one on here. And what I'm thinking anyway, and I'm gonna have to set the sheet metal back on to be sure, but I'm thinking of bracketing off of this bolt here and then putting it in there somewhere. I mean, that's kind of what I got in my brain. I don't know. That's the way it is on Freddy, I should say. The way I did it on Freddy was, it's right here. So if I would do that thing, it actually could be in there farther. That's what I need the sheet metal on to decide where exactly I could put this to make this go. Out of the way more would be better than in the way. Well, that's it there, good. So whilst I was on a sports trip, I stopped at the old supply tractor store and just started loading up with stuff that I thought I might be able to use, including battery cables. Normally I'm not a pre-made battery cable kind of guy, but they were there. They were heavy enough for this 1 gauge cable. So we're gonna hope that, you know, that's kind of gonna determine where our battery cutoff goes, I guess, is what I'm saying. I could go there, I got plenty of room. I could actually, and what would probably be nicer is if I were to go down through here. Maybe I can do that, maybe I can't. I don't know. That's pretty tight if I do that. So I guess I will go this route. And yes, that's plenty O cable to get where we need to go. No matter where it ends up in there, then we will need to somewhere place this cable, which I have plenty of option there. See, the other one was bolted on the other side and they just drilled a hole through the frame, which I don't really like. So I thought I would do something much different, but I may not have a choice, you know. I could go right back to the bracket that I make with it, and I could go somewhere totally different. Like where it might be a good place to go would be up here to this, and then that kind of, that would be acceptable. If there's enough cable, I could even go to the very front one, probably. So there are choices, and that will be good. So that's one thing we are going to deal with. We'll make another bracket and make that happen. Then I also managed to pick up a horn button, because we will need that when we add a horn. Not that that's really important, but that's the way they were, so it's gonna have one. So yeah, so we can do that. So now I suppose I will get the sheet metal and set it back on, just to make sure that nothing interferes with my plan there. And we have to still do some work on that. One of the tabs is broke off on the sheet metal on the other side, and then there's some holes that need to be filled and what have you. And you know, then I can clean it up and paint it or whatever I decide to do. The stickers have been coming off fairly decently. If you can get them off a good section, you can pull a pretty good chunk off at once. But sometimes they haven't been going that way, so time will tell. But let me grab that front piece and we'll set it on there so we can see how this goes. There we go. That's gonna go there, so none of that will interfere with my plans at all. But I don't physically really have, I don't really have room. I could do it that way, but, and that way it'd be super long, unless I just went straight up here. So, decisions. So what I can do is make the bracket this away and come straight up. And then, which case it would not have to be, but see, then it's going to hit that bolt head, and I don't want that. It would be much better to be like right here. So then everything would reach where it needs to be, but stuff wouldn't be totally out of hand distance wise. So I think I'm going to make it with this in mind, that we're going from this bolt, we're just going to go a 90, and I think that's going to be adequate. So I'll work on that, and then I'll bring you back when I got a more finished product. I think that's probably 1/2 inch there. So I can drill a hole for that and then just bend it up. And all right, I got my little bracket made. I have no idea what kind of struggle I'm in for to get that loose, but we will soon find out. I don't know what size it is. Why, it's that size, 22. Sole Vittori, 22. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. Not smart, not smart at all. Golly. There we go. Here's hoping that the nut will just come off and it's not gonna spin the whole thing. I don't think it will, because it looks to me like it goes through that casting somehow. And usually stuff doesn't just work, you know, like that. So if we wanted it to spin, it never would. I'm hoping that there's enough threads also that... Sure, what we're gonna do, we're gonna struggle, yeah. Come off of there. I think that'll work fine. It's kind of close to the radiator hose, but it's fine. At least I hope it is. I bet I got it a little tall. I bet that the switch is going to hit the bottom of the radiator. And I'm going to have to start over. We will soon find out as I'm demounting my wah, 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 wah. Wow. Man, if it was just a slight bit, it's not touching. And like we've said before, it is ground, so it's not like... Can I get this through there a little bit better, though? I guess I didn't quite get my... I didn't quite get the holes. I think that's livable. I'll show you what I'm talking about. In just a second. I should probably... Let me make sure that my... So much rambling, I'm sorry, but I want to make sure that that bolt is really super tight. All right. That's probably not very good, but we're gonna roll with it. What did that do for us? That actually helped. I can live with that. Let me get her tightened in there and I'll show you what's coming to be. Oh, it's working great now. All right, that worked out good. Let's see what that works. I can live with that. I guess we could. I'll just leave it like this. Yeah. So, what I should have done, I should have, and I could still do it to this, but put a hole lower and lower the thing down where it was just on top of that frame. But this is okay. It's not hitting anything. And what I'll do is I will put the, I'll put the one that's going to the ground of the tractor on this one because it's the closest to hitting this, and then there's no risk of it grounding any time, you know, it's already grounded. Like I said, that's an advantage of putting this on the ground side, is if it does hit something, it's not going to arc out and cause a fireball. So it's just a matter of squeezing everything in and you know, getting stuff to fit. But I was able to turn it a little bit in that hole to where it's gonna go just fine. Just fine. So we need to work on the front end now and getting the battery cable bolted up. I'm just gonna go in that front frame hole where it's kind of the cable is naturally wanting to go. And then that's out of our hair. We don't have to worry about it. All right, that is all hooked up and should be good to go. I do want to zip tie this ground cable up so that it doesn't accidentally fall down into the spinning hydraulic pump shaft, because that would certainly be possible and it would ruin our day. But I went in the house and just arrived, fresh from Chinesia. Speed Plus, 1997. Probably when it was made, I don't know. But a brand new one of these. So we're gonna swap it and see if we can't make it start from the dash like it's supposed to. We don't want to drop it because those are probably fragile. All right, just hang out crooked like that because that's the best I can do. All right. Terminal 50 should be our crank. And then 1554. I just want to compare. This one might feel slightly heavier, so maybe it's got better stuff in it. I don't know. All right. Put that one there. And then we need our green jumper. Needs to be hooked to it. All right. All right, let me go get a battery and we'll see if this won't happen to run. Poor 66 happened to be the closest thing, so it's gonna get the robbing. That's kind of loose. We're probably gonna have to tighten that. We don't want to do this too much because this will not charge the battery, remember, right now. Our cutoff switch is on, so that's pleasant. Let's tighten this. Sure. All right. So if we turn the key on, I don't think anything will jump because I don't think anything's hooked up. But it should crank. And it doesn't. What the heck? Oh. You know what? I am not a very smart animal. I bet you. Well, I can't say that because I wasn't getting any power through this switch. Let's try. Let's check this first. Okay, that's working. Why am I not getting any power? Okay, we need our test light. I tested that other one and I was getting nothing. Now, I cannot believe that there is two where I'm getting nothing. That does not seem likely. I gotta get this where I can see the display. Okay, let's see here. Oh, when I turn this key on, this test light should light up. And it does. There's nothing anywhere else. Now, when I do this, this terminal should get hot, and it doesn't. What the heck? Okay, we got a serious issue here. That's the second switch, which is acting the same way, which must mean this one is not bad, or they're both bad. It's supposed to get its power here. No, I take that back. the power comes into this when you turn the key on. This is supposed to be your crank wire on the 1365 even. This goes to your thermostarter. And then, yeah, I think we need to experiment with this switch and see if we can figure out what I'm doing wrong. Is there, why I'm not getting what I'm supposed to be getting? That's what I don't understand. According to the wiring diagram, I have it correct, but things are not happening like they should be happening. Okay, we're gonna make us a cheater wire here. We're gonna do some experimentation. Maybe. I should have got one that had a ring terminal on it or something, because this ain't gonna work. That might work. Does this make contact now? Yes. Okay. So, if I touch power to here, obviously it's there. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. When you turn to the crank position. Okay, let's try this. What if I stick the power to 30? Nothing happens. This is going to be next impossible to do. Okay, so I'm thinking that there needs to be another power wire that goes to 30, because then if you have another power wire going to that, when you turn the thing to crank, it sends power momentarily to that. But I'm not really understanding what the purpose of this is, because it's not getting power at all at any time. It's like they just ran it over there and jumpered the power to it for no reason. So why is this thing? We're gonna have to try to look up and read the book again, because I don't understand why I didn't get that from reading it the first time. We got to figure out why there's two things. All right, friends. This time I dug out both books for both tractors to compare. And my issue is that on one of them it's wired up one way, and on the other tractor it's wired up a totally different way. So what I need to do now, I really need to take the key switch out of the tractor, and I need to do some testing on it with the test light and see which positions the power goes to what terminal. Because, for example, on this one, which was the gas tractor that we're working on, the power comes in and it goes to terminal 30, and then there's a jumper wire to 30/1. On this tractor, which is, you know, same switch, the power goes to 30/1. There is no connection to it and anything else, and then there is a wire that goes from 30 over to 30 on our start switch, and that is our issue here. I need to get another wire to that terminal 30 at some way or another. So whether that be me running another wire from the key over to the start switch, or whether that be me changing the wiring on the start switch from what I did to this, which is fine, but I want to know what happens here, like where the power goes from one to the other. Maybe I don't need any more. Maybe the new style key switch has a jumper inside itself and I didn't need that to start with. Although I just don't know. So that's why I think I'm gonna pull that key switch out and we're gonna test light it to figure out what we got, because this might actually help us with the fact of shutting the key off and then, you know, some type of charging system backfeeding and keeping it running. When we get to that point, it might already be okay, because we might have more positions on the key switch than I originally thought we would. All right, so I'm going to take my jumper off for now. Well, I can actually use it though. Ignore this 51, we're not going to mess with that just right yet. We're worried more about where the power comes into the switch at. So on this tractor that we're working on, the book shows that it comes into terminal 30. And that's the way I had it wired up. And then it had a jumper from there to 30/1. What I need to know, on the 1365, the power comes into 30/1, and then I want to see if I do that, what sort of combination of positions I have power, if that makes sense. This maybe doesn't make sense, and I probably should have done this the other day, but I took for granted that everybody knew what was going on when they designed all this. So if I do this, oh, you know what I did? I shut my battery cutoff off, and I can't reach it from here. Great. We'll get this eventually. All right. Power is going into 30/1, which is the way it would be on the 1365. We are now in the off position, so the only terminal which should have power is that one that yeah. All right, now we're gonna go to position 1 of the key. We should still have power here because that's hooked to our battery. We have no power at either of those. No power at 51. No power at 30, which was what I really wanted to know. So I think we still need that jumper. I'm not sure what. Okay, when you go to that position, then we start getting into headlights. See? Yeah. And then that one should light that up. Shut that one off. That one stays on. That one's on all the time. Okay. So what I believe is happening here, I think we did need this jumper, and what I'm guessing happens, which I didn't sort it all out on the wiring diagram, we can look at it again. On the 1365, I bet that the power comes back into this side after going through something else. And so that's what is going on. Now, if I were to put the power to this, that's what we're gonna test next. We're gonna put the power like I had it, except I'm gonna pull that jumper wire off there to see if that terminal gets any power at all, or if it is purely I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say, but I just gotta make sure that I get this all rigged up right. All right. Now, through this conglomeration, that's our battery in the first position, or in the off position, I should say. Nothing has power. Now the first position, okay, the first position, 51 got power. And that's it. 51 got power. So that sends the power over to, the way I had it wired up, it sent the power over to our coil, to the start switch position 1554, which sent it to our coil, but nothing else then has power. Now if I do this, next position, this should always still have power all the time. None of these have power. So it needs to get, it needs that jumper to feed all the terminals for the headlights. And I guess what happens on the later ones, they must have went through the fuse box on their way back, because if I start over and I put my jumper back on 30-1 and then I hold my, I'm gonna have to figure out how to, I don't have enough to do everything now. We'll get it here. I need to get my stuff with the clips. I do have test leads with clips, but I never have the motivation to go get stuff. All right, now I have hot on both sides of this. Nothing, 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 nothing. Turn it one position. Now I should have here, nothing else. But now when I go to the third position, I should start having headlights, and I do. So that must be the head and the, no, let me think about that. That would be flashers only maybe, and tail lights on those. And then the next position, you would always have those. And then you got that one, but not this one. And then the last one, you have this one, but not that one. All right. So now I understand what was happening. And that basically what it amounts to is I need one more wire over to this. I need a wire to terminal 30, which was another puzzle. Do I wire terminal 30 to this, which means it would crank all the time whenever the battery's connected, like the key switch wouldn't shut that cranking off? Or do I wire it from here so that it only will activate this, or let you use this when you have the key on? And that's another thing I don't know. We need to go out and let's just do some homework here. The 1365 is right out here. Okay, the battery's on, key is off. Will it crank? No, it won't. It'll only crank when you got the key on. That's what I thought. And basically, that doesn't need to be a high voltage like from the battery directly, because it's only activating the crank position. Yeah, you know, if I had the thermo starter on this one, it probably would have to be, but that's not the case. So if we look at this one more time to sort out why this is the way that it is. On this one, the power comes into 30-1. But then it's also must be getting power to 30, which 30 has power over to, that's the start switch there. So we have A and two M's. 51 is going to 30, and then it's feeding 30 back to the other side of the switch. Okay, so that's where we're wrong. Where I need my extra wire. The 1250 diagram did not have that. So I need to get a 51, another one over to the 30 terminal on the crank switch. And since I'm doing this on a gas tractor, what I'll do is I'm going to make a lighter gauge wire to run the coil, because it doesn't have to be spectacularly heavy. So I'll re-end this one, I guess. I guess I wouldn't have to. I guess I could just make another heavy one. But I'm going to have to hunt up some terminals to do that, because I need this on one end and then that on the other end, because both of them have a screw type end. So, but once we do that, I think we'll finally have this problem solved. It was just a matter of not having enough wires hooked up. We needed one more wire to make this go. All right, this project almost has me feeling defeated, because it's one of those things where you think you got something and then you don't. But now we should have something. If I do this and I turn the key one position, it should now crank. Sure. It vibrates a lot. Can't leave anything sit on top. It works. For now it works anyway. Let's try to start it again. A whale. Well. The governor's getting a little better as we use it. It probably is slightly out of adjustment, but the biggest problem I think is it's gummed up in there. It goes through the manifold. But it's running. Our water pump is still leaking. Continuously, right in our face. Shut her down. I ordered a new one, so it'll be here soon. But that is what's happening, is as it's leaving there, it's slinging that all over everything. All right, now that we've swallowed a healthy dose of antifreeze, we're gonna call it quits. And I mean on life, no. So you're asking yourself, what did we accomplish in this video? Well, we got a battery cutoff mounted on. We got it to start from the seat through some rewiring, which means that our other switch probably was not bad. I just didn't hook the power to the right terminal when I tested it. So that's why I wasn't getting anything anywhere. Live and learn there. I did it like I thought I was supposed to, but I should have tried them all. I mean, that's only 12 volts. It wouldn't really hurt anything. So our next big hurdle, other than tachometer, I think I'm gonna just find that one that was broken. We took out the one that didn't count anymore, that we took out at 1365. If it fits in here, I'm just gonna stick it in this hole for now, and we'll figure that out later, just so we don't have an obnoxious opening. But our next big hurdle on it is going to be charging system and figuring out what we're gonna do on that regard. I have no idea what we're gonna do yet. My other alternator did arrive. However, I don't think that it's going to work. I don't know. Don't really know how to describe it, but it's just not gonna work. I'll show it to you sometime, but it's up at the house. It's not right here, so. Anyway, slowly we are progressing to where we might actually get to use this for something. But that's just the way she goes. Sometimes it's slow progress. My little dust cap there to keep stuff out of the carburetor. But anyway, we're getting very close this time. I mean, we tackled some hurdles that I didn't know that we'd get. This system here. So it's coming along. It takes us a while to sort everything out because we're doing stuff that nobody's done before on a lot of this. So anyway, I suppose we will stop here while we've accomplished something. We have a lot of stuff to do, like spend one whole day cleaning up all our trash that we've accumulated here, but then we will continue on next with more wiring. We got to get our gauges all wired up. We got a lot to do, and it's just going to take some time, you know. We got more important projects to do probably for other people, so we're going to just have to do the best we can. Luckily, it's not leaking out of the oil pressure thing, so that's a win. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. We're going to call this one here, and as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.